Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. So I'm going to make a vintage tag. I seem to be making a lot of tags recently. And, well, that's just what I like. And, of course, every tag I make could be a card front as well. So we're going down the vintage road because that is what I like to do. So to this floral centerpiece come from a beautiful piece of DSP, and I cut them out using my scan and cut. When I saw this packet of designer series paper, I thought I could cut those out, and I managed it. So this paper is called Wonderful World, and it comes with a stamp set, Wonderful World, and the two are free with a £90 order in my Stampin' Up shop just until the end of the month. So gosh, there's only going to be a few days left. When this video comes out, there will only be a few days left of celebration. There are other things that are free, but I just thought I'd give you a little flip through this paper. I love purple, so it really appealed to me that I love this. I will probably be stroking and hoarding this. I thought these lent themselves really well to making some vintage ephemera. That's the sheet that I cut. I obviously get two sheets of each design, so this is the one that I cut these out from. I cut them out with a little margin. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, but I decided to cut these out with a wee margin because I thought I'm going to ink them, so it's fine. Scan and cuts don't cut out what I call landlocked areas, so I can either cut those out with a craft knife or leave them. If I'm going to ink them up, it don't really matter. As you can see from this tag, there was landlocked bits there, but because I chose to put it on a sort of a white background, which I then inked, don't really matter. Can't really tell. And there's another sheet that must still be in here. There it is. The final sheet is this one with the smaller versions of these flowers. I cut these out as well. How cool's that? Cut all of them out as well. I thought they were far more useful having these little tiny flowers than that sheet. And it's pink on the other side, which is not my favourite colour. Do like that there, so I was a little bit torn there. So I got loads of these, oodles and oodles, and of course I've got the other sheets cut out as well. So there, just thought I'd give you a couple of minutes telling you about that. Being very, very popular, as you can imagine. Right, so to make this tag, I'm going to use yellow's not a colour I use very often, but I thought that would be nice vintaged up. So I've got a piece of basic white, and I've cut it to 3.5, and it's 6 inches tall. I could have done it 5 7/8 so that I could have got 4 out of a sheet of A4, but anyway, that's what I did. So I have also then pulled out to sort of stamp on this background. I'll be inking that up as well, but I'm going to stamp on this background. So I've mounted this flower here because I like it, and because I thought it went quite well with this one. So I've mounted that one up, that label there, that postmark, and this sort of vintage ledger sort of thing. I have mounted up that little splatter, and I've mounted up that there as well. Those are kind of my go-to vintaging sort of current things. Obviously very Forsyth I really like, but I'm making this for a blog hop, and when we do blog hops then we tend to have to use current products. So yeah, That's why I'm sticking to these that are available. I think sometimes as well, you might, you know, sometimes I watch videos and I think, oh, I want to buy that. So yeah, I'm going to use soft suede because that's what I like. I'm going to bring in my old Stampin' Up catalogue, which I like to use for stamping off on. I've got grid mat, but sometimes I just think I just want something little on my desk. So I've got oodles of catalogues. So yeah, I am gonna do a little bit of stamping with this. I think this is like the veins of a leaf, but I think it kind of gives a really good distressed edge to things. So I'm just going round the edge of the tag, going off and on, so we get a variation of colour, like so. So that's step number one. Then I'm going to do a little bit of dottage around. There we go, like that. And then let's get sorry for that little banging. Right, so I like just sort of like partial prints, not the whole print. So just pushing down with my finger so that I'm not getting the full print off. That's what I like. I think that'll do for now. Let's have this flower. Ranunculus Romance, this stamp set's called, where this has come. I think this is a ranunculus flower. Never heard of one before I saw this stamp set. So I quite like getting a little bit of a folded look. Now let's go for this one, which I quite like as well. Thought they were very similar, so I thought it would complement really well, and I think it does. So a bit like faded wallpaper. I'm kind of avoiding the middle, but not necessarily deliberately, but it is going to get sort of covered over. There we go. And so now I'm just going to go in with this label. I do like this label. I'm going to stamp it in its entirety because it's only little. And then I'm going to change to Early Espresso, and I'm going to do the postmark in Early Espresso. And I'm going to have it in there. That'll do. That's all of them. So now, I mean, I haven't done any inking on that, as in blending, but already it's looking sort of quite old and distressed. So I'm going to use my blending brush. That's the purple one, Jess. There we go. My blending brush to come in and add some more colour. Basic white takes the ink really well. It's really smooth, excellent for stamping on. And then when you're pushing on colour, you get a nice smooth finish. Some cardstocks are almost got like a rough top to them, whereas this goes on nice and nicely smoothly. There we go. So liking that, and I'm going to before I put it away, I'm going to make my tag top, and depending on which way round I use this corner punch, depends on what you get. So this one, it's got the inverted sort of curve and then goes round, which would be that way, the inverted curve and then goes round. So I might do this one the other way, where it goes round and then down to the inverted curve. It, you know, I've only had this, I don't know, a month, and I only noticed it the weekend, like an idiot, that you could get two styles of top from this punch. Yes. So now I'm going to come in down that edge so that they get inked. So that's that. And then we need to ink up our flower so that it looks old. And I want to make sure that the little white bits, there's not too much landlock on this particular cut, but they're gonna not be seen once it's on the tag. So using the brush is really good because it gets down to these edges, which would be hard to ink, but the bristles in the brush get down there, so it makes inking shapes like this much easier, so we can get all the edges inked up. I do love my Stampin' Up blending brushes so much. Got a brand new set, but they're all crisp and white. I haven't used them yet. So that's that done. Let me move that out of the way. So that's ready to pop on top there. And then to sort of break it up, I always like, I like a bit of book page or a bit of music paper behind. So I'm going to go into my little scrap drawer and see what I've got in there. So, got some music sheet. Oh, one of these will do nicely. That's a full sheet, I know. I said I was going in my scrap drawer, but I do have a few full sheets in there just so that they're easy to grab. So I like to see the do you know, it's gone clean out of my head what they're called at the beginning of music. Absolutely just gone out of my head. My son would be going, Mother. I know, they're just gone. Just gone it has. So keep that, and then I'm just gonna rip like that. And I want that top actually to be less. Yep, liking that. And I put a bit of our lovely vellum. So we've got this vellum, what's it called? Vellum Layering Designs, which I like. So I use this one with the script on. So I'll just carry on that rip and use this bottom half. flipped it all the way down. That's going to be far too long, but it doesn't matter. We can rip it off. So I had that, so it kind of went straight edge to straight edge. So we'll just rip that bit off. And add the music sheet sort of underneath it. And then that on top. I will be inking around this, but that was kind of the layering that I was going with. Move my stamps out of the way. Might stamp a little bit more, but for now that's fine. And then I put a little bit of ribbon across, and I used this lovely ribbon. Forgotten what it's called now, but it is a lovely ribbon, and you can actually stamp on this ribbon, so I might do that. And because we've got sort of script going on there in the vellum, just lost my words completely then. I think I might do that as well. So I'm going to add this to it. It's not very visible actually. I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to stamp on the other side in early espresso, because that didn't come out very well. I could stamp in Mossy Meadow actually, that might be quite nice, but I'm not. I'm going to do this one. So let's, there, that's better, isn't it? So that is very cool. Very cool, nice effect. I like it. So we'll just get my scissors and we'll just take that off. I've got a very small sample of that ribbon, so being very frugal with it. So that can go across like so. On this one I did add, I put it on the top, didn't I? I added a little bit. But this one, I think I'm going to put it across like that. Added another bit of ribbon to match there, but I might not put that ribbon on this one. Thinking about it. But I made a stamp, and I think I'll show you how I made the stamp. So that piece of, oh, it's on the floor, it's just bent in there. That piece of DSP, where I took the little flowers out, I didn't cut the edge ones because they weren't, well, they were full flowers, but these weren't quite full. And sometimes the Scan and Cut doesn't always read them all, but I wanted to, so it didn't read that one. So I left those ones in. So I thought I could have either got a little strip there, pattern paper I could use, or I could maybe use these for something else. So I made a stamp with them. So I'm using, I'm just leaning forward, excuse me. So our rectangular postage stamp punch, and I thought I can make little stamps out of it. Now we've got one there that matches. So I'm taking as much as I can, like so. And then I'm just going to go back in and take the bottom off. So you can resize this however you want. So we'll take that off like that. So we've got ourselves a little postage stamp. That's not very straight, Jez. Going on the inside as opposed to pushing it that way to get the right shape, although it doesn't really make that much difference. But right, I'm trying to see if that's 90 degrees. It's a bit better. So got a wee stamp there if I wanted to put that on. I don't think I do on this one, but I just wanted to show you how I made that stamp. And then I just stamped on it with the with this postage stamp. Just did that. Added me that label there, and then just sort of distress it a bit, and that is how I got my little faux postage stamp. And I'll probably make stamps with the rest of them. I did also run it through an embossing folder so that it's got a little bit of texture on it. I'm not sure how well that's coming up, if at all, but there is some texture on there. But I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to use that at all. Now I want to do a little bit of inking on this so that the edges, you get nice white edges when you rip vellum. And so let's pick up those edges nicely. That back. And I'm going to do a little bit more distressing on this as well. Now I could be doing this as a mass make and the whole process would be sort of speeded up, because I could have stamped the entire A4 sheet and then cut it up into tag shapes. So, you know, I could have made many, many more, but I'm just showing you the one. And this would go nicely in a journal. And I would probably add a little word on there, but I'm going to leave the word off because I'll probably add one when I know what journal it's going to go in. So I'm just going to stick those all down. So before I do the ribbon on, I want to back this onto some coffee dyed paper, and I want to stick it down before I stick that down so it's a bit smoother. So I'm going to do that. You might have noticed I used vellum. You can often see through, but that's why, I don't know if you noticed in the time lapse, but I used my spreader to spread on the vellum, so you don't see the glue marks. So I'm going to stick this down on here, turn it round and give it a good smooth. This is tea dyed, not coffee dyed. I'm always saying coffee dyed paper, when in fact I use tea. I left this soaking for quite a while. This is 120 GSM, called laid paper, so it's got quite a nice feel about it. It's got like a line in it, which I like. So there we go, and then we're going to just cut this off. I'm going to bring in my long scissors, and I rest the blade against the cardstock, so then I can cut it up. I need to take those corners off again. I would have covered this before I punched it in the first place, but I forgot. But no matter. There we go. So that's that. And I will just do a little bit of inking around the edge of this. Like so, and then I'm going to just do a few little dotting, and I might just a little bit of script. That's that. So now I can stick down a bit of ribbon. I'm going to just use a bit of Fabutac for that because it's quite a big piece of ribbon. Just give that a little spread. Oh, a little bit of rain. We've so wanted rain. It's just lovely. Had a little bit yesterday, didn't last long. Storms are brewing. There's been storms all over the country. We haven't had any storm yet. Just had a little tiny bit of rain. And then we need a hole in the top. So this comes with a hole maker. So I'm gonna put a little hole in the top there and get a bit of ribbon for it. I might use this ribbon, but I'll distress it a bit. I'll just run the ink over that to make it look old and distressed. Because it's got a bit green in it, I thought, yeah, I'll have that. Poke it in from the back. And there it is. This one I sewed round with my sewing machine. I haven't done this one. I might do it afterwards. Quite like the sewn edges. So tell me in the comments down below, should I sew or not? And I'll see what you think. And that's it. So that's my little vintage tag. The blog hop was using something new, and this paper and the stamp set that matches is something new that I've got. So yeah, hope you like that, and I'll be back with you very soon with another video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will link to my shop down below if you wish to purchase anything. And yeah, see you again soon. Thanks for joining me.